how are you, my lovelies? My little cherubs. I'm just setting up my dashboard because, as usual, the Dreams tag disappears when I start streaming. So there it is, popping it back on. There we go. Now we are ready to commence. So, you may or may not know that I have made some lovely little tidbits on YouTube showing you some little how-to videos in my alter ego of Richard Frank, and we're just yeah, they've been going down very well. People are quite enjoying them. They're very short. They're just little mini projects to help you put things together, to get little things to happen, to inspire you and show you ways you can use the various tools, but just small, simple things. Let's just check out what's going down. Hello, Passion Pit. I'm just about to carry on optimizing my supermarket because you'll never guess, but I watched the stream, the Media Molecule stream on Tuesday that had hello Sir Tall Paul. I was watching the stream on Tuesday with Alex and Liam, two of my colleagues at Media Molecule, and I learned an awful lot about optimizing. And it also had the lovely Christoph. Actually, I learned a lot from his little demo as well about optimization. So even though last time we didn't really do much in the way of optimizing, I've learned some very useful tidbits. So we are going to drastically reduce the number of wires in the scene today using the things that I learned. So let's begin, shall we? Firstly, the first thing I learned was about the graphics thermometer. So let's put the thermometer on. I'm not embarrassed to reveal how much is in them. We've got 67% gameplay, 79% graphics. We haven't done much audio, so we're doing all right there. You do know if you click on it, you can open up more options. Now, what I discovered the other on the stream was that increasing the looseness on the sculpt does not reduce your graphics thermometer. And let me explain why. So, let me go into one of these objects and we'll show you. We'll use it to illustrate. Let's not save that. We haven't done anything. So, every sculpt has a looseness, right? But that looseness has a minimum and a maximum sort of that you can take it to. It has a sort of envelope, if you like, with a minimum looseness and a maximum looseness. Now, it's the maximum looseness of that envelope which affects how expensive a sculpture is. So even if you turn up the looseness, it's still limited by the number that its minimum looseness is. Does that make sense? because it still has the potential to be tightened up. Now the way that you reduce the minimum looseness is by using the sculpture detail tool, and I'm not actually sure whether I used that last week. So what I'm going to do rather, is I'm going to tweak this sculpture. I'm going to well, the looseness is already at its minimum, so what we need to do is use the sculpture detail tool to, oops, wrong way, to reduce it, and that will actually reduce the cost on the thermometer. So let's reduce it until it looks rubbish. I think that looks a bit too loose, don't you? So let's just tweak it a bit more. Oops. That's a bit better. Let's just leave it like that. It's still a bit rough, but it should help. So let's save that. I want to get onto the fun bit, but we do need to optimize. We do need to optimize in order to get to where we need to be. So those have been made looser. Let's have a look at the thermom. About the same. Okay, well, that hasn't helped much. Let's just scope into these and see what the looseness is setting on those. See, that one's already, that's at 50% looseness. If we reduce that to 0, so it's as tight as it can be, and then we reduce its maximum looseness. So let's see, that looks super loose, super tight rather, which we don't want. So let's go in there. Let's just undo that actually. Go in there, go to our can. Let's save that because we want to save the optimized wine bottle. I'm guessing you can hear me. Somebody tell me in the chat if you can hear me or not. Right, so in here, sculpture, looseness, turn it all the way down, and then if we use the sculpture detail tool, that should give us some of our thermometer back. If it doesn't, I'll be very surprised. But then again, this is Dreams. There. So we've loosened it, and that will reduce its upper envelope because it's already at minimum looseness. So if we save this, you can hear me, that's good. Have you been watching my videos, my little videos, my how-to videos? There we go. What's it on now? 67. So we went down by about 2%. So that's not brilliant, but it's not terrible either. These could probably be looser. I'm glad that's working now, because I felt a right old nana last week. My doggies are all asleep in the kitchen. It's quite warm today. It's perfect laundry weather. Oh, you should try the how-to videos. They don't go into every single detail. I would recommend you do some tutorials. But what they do is, once you've done the tutorials, they give you little projects to try to put together the things you've learned in the tutorials. If you look at all this logic, let's have a look. Check it out. 23. Reduce that so it gets tighter. but then use the reduce detail tool to just loosen it, and that will definitely give us a little bit back. What we're going to do as well later is optimize using the emitters when we get down to getting the gameplay down, because we want to increase the number of objects we can have in the scene by a large degree. So what I'm thinking of doing is putting an emitter for every object in the scene. One emitter is still going to be cheaper than one tin of beans with all that logic on it. So, did the spiral technique... You know what, you can use that spiral technique with sculpting as well. I'll show it to you later if you like. So, there we go, -1 on the art. Graphics rather, so we've reduced graphics a little bit more. We could probably loosen those a bit more. But anyway, what I've decided to do is create a dummy shelf. So I'll do a dummy a dummy shelf of beans. A dummy shelf of wine, a dummy shelf of everything that I have created. And then what we can do is that dummy shelf will be an object or an element which we can place on every shelf in the scene, and that dummy shelf will... I'll show you what I mean. Let's just do it, shall we? Let's just do it. And then there'll be 1 tin of beans per shelf, and then all the emitters on that shelf will because if you watched the stream on Tuesday, how many of you watched the stream on Tuesday? I should be on the blooming category. I changed it. It's disappeared again. Save. Is that working now? Oh, you little monkeys. Somebody tell me if it's fixed. Is it better? Is it better now? There, that's better. Sorry about that, sausages. I think I forgot to save it when I did it before. How do I get to my chat? There it is. Thanks, darlings. Okay, so... Well, it's quite... Should we do it now? Let's do it now. Should we be spontaneous? Or should we get on with the optimization? What would you like to see, sausages? Gress Clippermenen. That's a very German sounding name. Thank you, Dan Per, by the way. So yeah, so I learned a lot, and what I learned was that multiple emitters can reference the same object, which saves you an awful lot, because every one of these tins of beans has got a for want of a better expression, I'm not going to swear, an F load, an F ton of things in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a fake shelf. We're going to create a fake... Wait a minute, let me go in there. I'm going to grab that tin of beans and I'm going to move it out. I'm going to sit it up here for now. Now we're going to put the grid on. We're going to make it quite small. And we're going to go to sculpt mode and we're going to create a fake shelf. Okay, the important bit of the shelf is the top surface. because we're going to use that to align with the shelves in the store. Right, that'll do. Let's make it a different colour so it stands out. Let's make it red. Lipstick red. Right, so that's going to be our fake shelf. Now what all that does... Oh, it's Norwegian. Oh, of course it is. Grass Clipper Man. That's funny. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tweak this sculpture, and I'm going to go to its physical properties and make it invisible. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the visibility and turn off preview invisibility. So anything that's invisible in the scene will become visible. Visible. What I might do as well actually is I might go into the sculpt mode and put a fake back on the shelf too, because what that will enable me to do is give me somewhere to put my emitters. So yeah, so that was a big... So the two big things I learned from the Tuesday stream were the thing about sculpture detail, because I'd been using looseness to reduce the thinking that would help my thermometer, but it won't. The looseness will make it look looser, but it won't reduce its minimum looseness. Only the sculpture detail tool can reduce that, and that's the thing that's going to cost you. So actually I could try doing that to these bits of floor as well. Let's save that. Blame it on my juice. Oh. Wait a minute. Is that right? I thought I'd made a bigger one. Let's go back there. That's odd. Why is it doing that? That's not what my floor looks like. I changed that. Maybe I changed... Oh. I think they're in... They're live clones anyway, so what I'll do is I'm just going to do this. Go to sculpture detail. See, look, 21%. And then what I'm going to do... Why didn't that one change? Oh dear. Let's use that. Right, let's just... You can select multiple items and tweak them all at the same time. If they're the same type of item, then you can do that. There we go. Now they're all on 0. We can use the sculpture detail tool once again. See, look at the graphics thermometer going down. Isn't that marvellous? Maybe not that loose. Getting a bit silly now, isn't it? but that looks alright to me. You know, it's painterly, isn't it? Let's try these. Everything in Dreams is made out of balls, yes. Well, the physics is all made out of balls. That's really what he means. Looseness. Look at that. I've made that boo-boo all over the place. No wonder my blooming thermometer's so high. Oops, didn't want that. I wanted that. That looks alright, doesn't it? Save. Basically, the way the physics works is if you imagine that the sculpts are meshes, which they're not, but if you just imagine them as volumes, and then you pour balls into the volume, the smaller the balls are, or the more of them you can fit into the volume, and also the more they'll go into the cracks, and you'll get a more accurate reflection of, because ball physics is very cheap to calculate because it's a single point with a radius. So, and obviously the less balls you use, the cheaper it gets. But if the balls are bigger, they'll fill the space more quickly, but they won't be as accurate. So when you're changing the physics in the physics detail in the, let me show you it. Let me show you it, my lovelies. If I go into here and I go to the physics tab, here you've got physics cost. If the cost is low, it means the balls are bigger, but it means that your physics won't be as accurate. So if you've got something with a flat bottom, for example, but you turn the physics cost to low, it might fall over because its base isn't as flat as it looks. The render will look flat, but the physics won't be flat because the balls are big. But if you make smaller balls, they will fill the base more evenly and you'll get a flatter physics thing. Does that make sense? I know. All this talk of balls is making me blush. Oh, I can't make them that... that's not good, is it? That's not good at all. We're going to need to make these a little bit more tight. So I've been busy all week. I've not had any chance to do anything in Dreams, really. Apart from play a few things. Because I've been busy making those blooming videos for you lot. Which I have enjoyed doing, let's be honest. But, yeah, that's what I've been up to. So, we can't turn down the looseness anymore. So we're going to have to use the thingy bob. So let's turn up the detail a smidge. Luckily it's not affecting our thermometer too much. There. Because I don't really want those big gaps to interfere with the physics. Thank you for the... Well, I know. I am the queen of immature jokes. I'll tell you that for nothing. Right, let me just switch back on, turn off preview invisibility, and let's get on with this fake shelf. So what we're going to do is we're going to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 baked bean emitters. But what we also need to do is create we also need to create dummy baked bean tins to replace. So there's my dummy baked bean tin. These are going to show me where let me think. I need to put the grid on again, don't I? That'll teach me to leave the level and come out again. Oh, I didn't want to do that. There. The grid will help me make sure that the tins are on the shelf. So these tins have got no logic. So what we're going to do is, when the we're going to put a sensor on here. I wonder if we should do 2 shelves in one object. I mean, it's only going to save us 1 tin of beans. The videos, they're going to be when I have the chance to make them, but they're a lot easier to make than tutorials. So hopefully there will be new ones every week. But I mean, we've dumped about 7 of them on you so far, so we've kind of, we won't be churning them out that quickly, but hopefully we'll be able to get a few done each week. But yeah, I don't think at the moment, I don't know how regular they're going to be, because obviously I have other things I need to do. But we will do our best, sausages. So I'm not going to use a microchip, because although what I am going to do is put these all in a group, because that way I can make sure that I'm not interfering with anything else. So this is our sauce tin of beans. Ironically, tomato sauce. Thank you, Dirty Harold's. Now I need to figure this out, because I've never done this before, and I'm going to do emitters, which are here somewhere. There they are. And we need quite a lot of those. One per tin. I could do something super fancy with 1 emitter and have it move and emit. Like if I had it move once per frame and just emit a tin of beans every frame, that would only have cost me 1 emitter, but I don't know if that's going to work. So I'm going to just keep it simple. I mean, it's still going to be cheaper no matter what I do. So if I open this emitter, I'm actually going to put it there, and I'm going to use it to do this one first. Now how did he do it? He had a thing, didn't he? So that's our beans that are going to be emitted, which have got their thing on them. I want to reduce this to 0. Any help you've got to remind me of what I have to do would be obviously great. Why can't I see it? Oh, because I need to be in the tweak menu. There. So that emitter will emit the expensive beans, which are now hidden, and that references this tin here. So if I clone this, at the moment it will clone. Oh no, it doesn't. So I think that's how he did it, isn't it? Ooh, maybe I should put them on a microchip. What do you think? So that's 2, and I think they're both should both be. They should. They should both be. Referencing the same one. Yes, they are. Okay, good. Because if I go into here, they're both looking at that one. If I had, because I've moved that one, if that one had been referencing a different one, it would have been over there. So I think that's working. Is everyone in agreement before I carry on? So this group is still a group. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this group and I'm going to group the dummy bean tins again, so they're in a subgroup. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to need to destroy them, and I don't want to have to put 12 destroyers in there. I'd rather just put one destroyer and have it destroy that group. Does that make sense? Let's just move this over. Is that in the right spot? No. And now I should be able to clone these 3. if I just select those three, but I get that one in position, all three of them will be, because they're cloned. So that's that done. Oh, we only want it to clone one as well. Let's just select all of these emitters. Only emit once in local space. Emitted object lifetime infinite. Max emitted at once. One. Max emitted 1. Because what I'd like to do... Actually, no, that's infinite. We only want one at once, but we want them to be able to emit multiple times. Because what I'd like to do... Hello, Dream Tinder. What is that you're holding? Are they balloons? Hit play. I haven't triggered. I don't know. I'm not finished yet. Don't be sausage. Time between emits. Well, that doesn't make any difference because we're only emitting once. What we're going to do is we're going to put a trigger zone, a fairly reasonable radius, probably about. We're going to do it only in front of the shelf because we know that the shelves can only be seen from one side. We'll probably make it a rectangle about so big, and then when you come within a reasonable radius, the emitters will destroy. The sensor will detect that you're nearby. It will destroy the dummy tin group and emit a whole bunch of expensive tins at once, which might affect the frame rate, so we need to try and test that in a bit. Oh, freakers, did I not see you? You naughty person, you. Oh, that's what you mean. Sorry, I thought you meant I was ignoring you. Let's clone these. Carefully. I think that's right. Let's just select those. And yet again, if we get this one tin of beans in the right place... This is why I didn't want to do this the other week, because I knew it would be fiddly. Fiddly is not fun. Why are they doing that? And why is that like that? That's not right, is it? That looks more like it. Oh no, look, we're slightly off. We're slightly off, kittens. Is that better? No, we're not too high. Wish I could make my grid a bit coarser, to be honest. Looks like we've moved. If I put that like that, they're in the wrong place. So I'm going to have to move the dummy tins one. If I move them one thingy forward, that's it. I think that's it anyway. Oh, this is fiddly. That's as small as the grid goes. I don't think it really matters that much, does it? Sod it. Right, so we've got a group. In that group, we've got these, which are our dummy bean tins. We need to put a sensor trigger zone. We need to make it square because we know that the aisles are that size. I did do the red shelves on the grid, yes. I mean, I am a fan of grids, to be honest, but that's alright there. Pardon me. I had a Scotch egg for lunch. It's repeating on me. How far away do we think you'll need to be for to not really see these tins spawning? And why can't I see the thermometer? I think gameplay's gone down a bit already. So that's good. So if we do that for every shelf, that would be amazeballs. Right. I think that, let's try that distance, because that means it'll be fairly... what we're looking for? We're looking for a tag. We're looking for the trolley. Trolley cam or just trolley? Trolley. There we go. Trolley. I think that's the one we want, isn't it? Is that the one we want? This is just all the global settings. Trolley follow. Trolley cam. We don't want trolley cam. We want trolley follow. Trolley follow. Or actually, even better than that. Oh no, because no, we need them to have their own. But that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Don't worry. So we're looking for trolley follow. There we go. Then we need a destroyer. The scariest sounding gadget of all. Oh, we need to put that onto the bean group. Hello, hello, Seth Angel. So this goes to the emitters. It's a lot of wires. I would have liked to have used a microchip, but I'm too lazy. I like to see things sort of how they are, if you know what I mean. And it made it easier to make the shelf. And this is the most complicated one as well, because everything else has just got a single row. So once this one's done, it'll be a lot simpler to do the others. As long as this works, we should be able to get a supermarket suite with all the shelves full. How exciting is that? Right. Now here's the other thing. Hello, Tap Charles. Here's the other thing we have to think about, kittens. And that is, if the player... Oh, that's the other thing I need to do, actually. I need to go into this group and make sure that the physics is turned off. It is, so that's good. Okay, good. In fact, well, the physics isn't even on, so that's fine. If the player comes near the beans and the expensive ones are spawned, but then they don't interact with the beans, then I wonder whether we would like to respawn them. Because what would happen is, if you ran around the supermarket without touching anything and all the expensive stuff gets spawned in, you might get yourself into some trouble. So what I'd like to do is figure out a way that if the player does not interact with any of these, then we destroy these tins of beans and replace them with the dummy ones again. That's the question. To be or not to beans. Does that make sense? But for now, right. Now I can just clone these. Oh, see, look how much that's reduced. Oh my goodness. That's how you optimize, kittens. Now, it could all go horribly wrong, as I described, but to be honest with you, we'll deal with that when it becomes a problem. I'm just happy I can fill my stuff, fill my shelves with things, and we can make the game fun. A simpler way of doing things, more game templates, more easy to use ready-made logic constructions. No one's expecting you to do anything, darling. See that? Did you see how much that went down? If I do that to every shelf in here, I'll be able to fill them with wonderful things. Dream Tinder, are you getting frustrated? Oh, nudger. Don't worry, we're going to do it again in a minute. Several times. In fact, we need to delete some of these because we've got more tins to put on them, haven't we? Let's delete those again. I could have thousands of shelves. Oh my goodness. No, but this seems about the right size. It just means I can fill up all those gaps and things. Now, I want to address what Dream Tinder said, because they're obviously frustrated. Dream Tinder, the idea with Dreams is that it's giving you all the tools that a game developer has. It gives you the ability to make games to a professional level of quality, but it's with the current technology, it's only so easy to make games. You've still got to do all the bits and bobs. If we do too much of the stuff in advance, then all the games are going to look the same. If you imagine Little Big Planet, for example, they all had to look kind of similar because the options were reduced by having things more pre-made for you. But by opening things up, it increases exponentially the number of options, which gives you more possibilities, but it also makes the process more complex. Now, it's taken a long time to get Dreams to where it is, and I don't want you to feel like it's finished, because it isn't finished. And Media Molecule is going to continue making things to support Dreams and support the community for a long time going forward. So there will be more templates and there will be more things, but also what we're hoping will happen, and the way that Dreams is designed is for people to collaborate, so that you will have a team of people and they are working on the bits that they're good at. So you don't have to do it all yourself. You can get people together. If you look at the Mad Graphics team, they're creating some amazing stuff, but it's all themed around the same idea. So that means that they get that much more achieved in a shorter time. Does that make sense? Let's try it and see what happens. Oh, I forgot I didn't have to possess it. How silly. Where's my beans? Oh, what happened there? I think I forgot to wire up the destroyer. So let's go into there. Yeah, that's what's happened. So I need to put that onto there. There we go. And because I didn't make live clones, I've got to do it all again. That's alright. Let's just test it. There. Let's rewind it and see what happens if we come at it from a different angle. Right, here's the beans. We can see the beans on the shelf. When we get just across the corridor, they should be replaced. Oh, I didn't even see the difference. Well, that's good, isn't it? And look, gameplay. Well, that's because I've deleted them all, but that's what we need to see, isn't it? Let's go back to edit mode. Let's clone. I'm going to just quickly do this with clone tool because I want to do live clones because it will be a lot easier if I need to update them. Oh, Dream Tinder. That's what the community's for. There's loads of people that want to make something cool. There's loads of people already making something cool. Just talk to them. So what I'm doing now is I'm just checking that this works by cloning these shelves. If it does, we will do it to all the other shelves. So if we go over here, so I didn't even see them get replaced, which is good. But here's the problem, if I go down all of these things, suddenly my thermometer gets really full. So I guess what we need to do I mean, the beans are really the most problematic. Listen, Dream Tinder, you're great. Just make something smaller. You don't. I mean, look at me. I've made all this on my own, and I've got a full-time job making other games. So I know that you can do it. It's just a case of setting your goals a little bit more achievable. Does that make sense? Clean up in the tin goods aisle. Thank you, sausage. I think that worked. It did work, didn't it? Yes? So what we can do is... Oh, thank you, yes. Thank you for the encouragement as well, for doing the little tutorials. Now, let's repeat the process for the new people that have arrived. Let's delete a couple of these, because we made some new tins last week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to... I don't think that's a live clone. If I delete one of those, it doesn't clone it, so that's good. So what I want to do is pull in one of my other tins. Dog food. Is that in a box or a tin? I can't remember. I think it's in a tin. It was cat food that was in a tin. There we go, cat food. So we're going to make a shelf full of cat food. Oh, don't do that. What we need is to go into one of these groups, clone the shelf, back out of that group, put the shelf down, grab that and put that on the shelf where it's supposed to be. That's it. Grab the cat. Oh, the cat food's already in there, so that's okay. Now we will need to clone the cat food. Delete the logic of that one. This becomes our dummy cat food. We're going to scope into that group there. And we're going to replace... We're going to replace that baked bean tin, except that we can't. Because it's in the wrong space. Okay, it doesn't matter. Let's just do it anyway. We might have to do some stuff by hand, sausages. I don't like working with such a fine grid. Why did I have to make them like that? That's better. Which means that right, let's delete these. And clone these. That's it. There. A shelf of cat food. Now, if we go out of here, this destroyer should still work. Now what we need to do is select all of these emitters. Because we can tweak them all at the same time. How marvellous is that? Open the collective tweak menu. Delete the object to emit by pressing triangle on it, and there it appears. Delete that, and let's create a new object to emit, which is this can of cat food. Bing! Now what that means is we now have to slightly shuffle our emitters around, which is acceptable. I think that works. We will have to check them all. See, that one has moved slightly. Oops. Oh, we have to move the oh dear. Close that. Open that. Move the emitter so that the emitted object is in the right place. It doesn't matter if it's slightly off. I mean, you're not really going to notice. So what that means is, kittens that have just joined us, when we enter this, when the trolley enters this zone, the destroyer gets triggered and deletes the dummy cans and replaces them with the expensive physical cans. And then when the physical cans are detected by the trolley, they actually become physical, because they're not physical until the trolley goes near them, if that makes sense. So we need to delete. Oh, do we need to delete these emitters? No, we don't. We just need to tidy them up. We just need to make sure that they are in the right spot. That looks about right. I need a better angle on the situation. That'll do. Object to be emitted. Oh, this is boring. But it is necessary if we're going to make this game work. This is why I couldn't face doing this the other day. Because it's mind-numbing. But once you've set up one shelf, you can just clone it, so that's good. That'll do, it's near enough. We're not creating a masterpiece here. So let's just put that in the right spot. So which of the new videos is your favourite? Let's talk about those for a minute. Which one do you like the best? Next time you're in the checkout and you hear the beep, they usually drop a little bit when the trolley gets near them, but there's not really a lot I can do about that without making the physics expensive. spinny magic. You like that one best? Well, we'll do a little recreation of it in a minute. It was an aha moment for me. I didn't actually come up with that idea. That was come up with by... who was it by? Let me think. It was... Oh, I'm having a brain fart and I can't remember his name now. Pablo. Pablo did that one. He had a more complex one, but it was his idea originally. I simplified it because you can do it with sculpt as well, but I didn't want to do both because I thought that would make the video too long. So I simplified it a bit, but the principle is the same. It's actually simpler if you want to do it with sculpt, but it's cooler. You can make cooler things if you use paint. Because you know in the intro of the game, you know when the Dream Queen asks you to hit those spirally balls of energy, those are made using that technique. Pablo did that bit. Now let's scope out of there. Let's go to clone mode. We've got live clone on already. I'm going to make the grid a bit more friendly. There. We've got some cat food, everyone. Gods be praised. Right. I am a bit pernickety about my details, I have to say. Oops, that was supposed to be a live clone, wasn't it? There we go. Let's see if that works. Cat food! Oh, what's happened to me numbers? I've got cat food in my trolley anyway. That's the main thing. And the other main thing... Marvellous, we're making progress. Sausages. Pups. Oh, I've got many pups. Rich presents, yes. Maybe you could just get all the cans to emit from only one can. So duplicate the emitted object also. Well, this dummy sculpt, this dummy tin can thing could be one sculpt, but I would have to sculpt all those tins in one sculpt would be quite complicated. And frankly, I ain't got the time and all the patience to do that. So we're going to have to make some sacrifices. But look at the gameplay thermometer, 35%. That's about half of what it was, and I've only done the tins, so God's be praised. We're going to have lots of things on the shelves, even if it goes really slowly. But once you're in this game, it may, because obviously everything will become physical. It will become a nightmare very quickly. But we can then go in and we can figure out how to optimize further. This is how video games are made, kittens. In the real world, sadly, it's this boring and challenging all the time. It's not glamorous. Oh, I see. Well, yeah, but that wouldn't save an awful lot. I mean, think about it. Every one of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, is being generated by that one tin. So we've reduced the amount of electronics in the scene by 12 just for the beans. So if we do that for these, yes, we won't be doing it for quite so many. I mean, I could do a double shelf from one tin. That would halve it again. But I feel like this is going to make a big enough improvement that will be okay. We could go, we could make it infinitely efficient, but that would take forever and be really boring to watch. I mean, bear in mind that Dream Tinter has made a lot of things already, haven't you, Dream Tinter? They're just taking you ages. Some quite nice things, actually. Right, let's do the smoked salmon, and then the tins aisle will be finished. What do you reckon? Let's do one of these ones. Well, I do like to maintain what you're talking about is like a domino effect. So if I mess something up, I could have to go back and replace all of it if I do it all from one tin. I think. I'm just not intelligent enough. I just wouldn't be able to cope with that level of complexity. This is a challenge to me already. I've never had to do this before. So count your blessings, kittens. Right. Let's get ourselves some salmon. Right, let's put that in position. Oh, I'm going to put it up here. Actually, we need to make that a bit less loose. We can do that in this source file though, and then update it, can't we? Actually, let's do that now because it'll be easier to place them if they're a little bit tighter. Oh, I've saved it. I will summarise in just a second, my sausage. Let me just do this. Firstly, I learned about... Did you watch Tuesday's stream, Dream Tinder? Now that we've got our thermometer back, Enoch. Yes, I have done a bit of research into the supermarket trickery. That's why the fruit and veg aisle is by the entrance. To make us think it's a healthy place. There. So even though that looks tighter, it's actually cheaper because its minimum looseness is reduced. I was going to quickly I feel like I haven't done it justice. Yeah, that's better, isn't it? Bit of a label on the back. Right, let's save that. Oh right, so on Tuesday there was a stream, you should watch it on YouTube, it's extremely educational because it's Alex Evans, who is one of the technical directors of the two at Media Molecule, and also Liam, who is also a very expert programmer, and they're talking about the way that the engine that runs Dreams works. So it's all the stuff that's happening underneath the hood, if you like. Now, one of the things they mentioned was with looseness. We need to update that, and update that. That's better. Now, with looseness, every sculpture has a sort of envelope of potential looseness. It has a minimum looseness where it's at its tightest, and it has a maximum looseness where it's at its loosest. Now, sculpt detail on the thermometer, on the graphics thermometer, is measured by the minimum looseness of a sculpt. Regardless of how loose it is, it's always going to measure that sculpt by the tightest it can be using the looseness settings in the sculpt tweaks. Does that make sense? So even though you might have your looseness turned up to 100, that sculpture's detail with regard to the graphics thermometer is measured by what its looseness would be if you turned the dial down to 0, which is its least loose, which is its tightest form. Now, the way to reduce your graphics thermometer is not to use the looseness setting, it's to go into here and use the sculpture detail, because what that will do is it will take your minimum and maximum looseness and adjust it. So it will push it one way or the other. It will either enable you to make your thing more tight or less loose, or it will enable you to make your sculpture more tight and less loose, if that makes sense. So if you imagine it's like an envelope on a scale, and you're sliding both ends of that envelope up and down that scale. So if you increase the potential looseness, you're decreasing the detail overall. And so by using this tool, which also handily shows you what in the scene is the most expensive by making it red, that's how you can get some of your graphics thermometer back. Red doesn't necessarily mean bad, it just means it is the most expensive thing in the scene. So that's that. Now, the other point they made, which Christoph showed us actually, was about if you've got a bunch of the same objects and they're using emitters to emit the same things, then you can dramatically reduce your gameplay and your graphics potentially by, instead of, so previously these bean cans were each had their individual microchip full of electronics and wiring, which was pushing my gameplay thermometer through the roof. So what I did was I took one of those fully functioning bean tins, and let me just do this. I've created a dummy shelf so that I know, so that when I've created this thing I can place it easily, but that dummy shelf becomes invisible when you play the game. I've took one of the tins, put it up the top there. I cloned that tin. I deleted all the tins on the shelf, cloned that tin and deleted the electronics, immediately making it much cheaper from gameplay point of view, because it hasn't got all that electronics in it. Then I made a group of those, the cheap tins on the shelf, and then I put all these emitters on the back of the dummy shelf. Each one of those references the same tin of beans. So rather than have a tin of beans in every emitter that's separate, which would count as the same number of beans, each emitter is only referencing one tin. So I'm getting 12 tins worth of electronics out of one tin, because it's just each emitter is going to copy the same tin when it emits. And then when the trigger zone is activated, when you get near enough on the aisle, if I come to this corner, all those dummy tins get replaced by the expensive tins, and the destroyer destroys the group of dummy tins. So what that does is it means that I can fill the supermarket with dummy items on the shelves, and they will only become expensive when you get near them. In fact, I could probably make that, I could probably make this a bit smaller, because we didn't even see them change. And what that would do is it would also increase the let's do that a little bit, but not too much. Like, let's put it so it's almost just a bit bigger than the reach of the trolley. Now that should affect all of them. No, bugger. Okay. What about this one? No. Okay, that's annoying. It's alright, it's not that hard to fix. So we're going to make these a bit smaller, so that increases the efficiency even more. There we go. And then let's quickly do it to these as well. So that just means that if you're just passing by and not going to go up this aisle, it's less likely that you'll just accidentally trigger those. And they won't even become physical till you get really close to them anyway. It's just not pulling all those wires into the scene for no reason. It's quite, it's quite complex. Surprised even I can cope with it, because I'm just an artist, really. But I do love gameplay. I do love game design. Right, there we go. So we've got one refined tin shelf and one refined cat food shelf. Any more questions? Quick question. Could you show us how to turn a basic puppet into an FPS puppet? I'm actually going to do one of my little videos about that. So stay tuned. What happens if the trolley passes by all the shelves in one playthrough? Thermo overload. Yes, it is one lonely melon. What happens if the trolley... Yes, that is what will happen. You will possibly be able to crash the game by just running up and down the aisles, but we'll deal with that when it happens. I mean, I would like it to reset. Pardon my belch. I'd love it to reset when you leave the trigger zone. So if you didn't... The problem is I want it to be... I want it to have... what do they call it? What do they call it in a game when stuff that you change stays changed? I can't remember the word. Anyway. I want it... Because it's a game where you have to collect things. I don't want stuff just respawning. Persistent. That's the word. Thank you, freakers. I don't want stuff just respawning, because then you could just stand there and let things respawn, and it would let you cheat basically. So what I want to do is maintain the persistence, but that's difficult because then what I have to do is somehow detect if any of these tins has been molested by the player, and then those tins will never be put back to their original state, because I have to reset the whole shelf if I reset them. So the only thing I can do is say if none of those tins has been triggered to become physical, then you can replace them back with the dummy ones again. But that requires an awful lot more logic, which again is complicated, and I'm only going to do it if I have to. So yeah. Anyway, let's sort this out, shall we? So we're going to make some salmon, smoked salmon. But I will do it for you today. I'll give you a sneak preview. In fact, do you want me to do that now? Are you bored of this? This is just me replacing things on shelves. I've shown you how to do it now. I'm just going to carry on doing it. I might carry on doing it next week if I don't get a chance. But this is the most complicated shelf. So once these tin shelves are done, the other ones should be simpler. It's up to you. What would you like me to do? You can emit when grabbed. You can do anything. If you use a grab sensor, you just trigger the emitter. Um, what would you like me to do? Do you want me to do this one more time? Let's just do it one more time and then we'll do something else. So let's clone this. Oops. That's it. Let's put the grid back on. Can you emit when grabbed? No. It's more complicated than that, and I can't even explain it myself. But I've been down a long road making this supermarket, believe me, and I know from experience that emitting when grabbed is not an option. Oh dear, my neighbours are drilling. I hope you can't hear them too much. Okay, now let's do this. Clone this one. Delete logic. Scope into dummy tin group. And oh, for goodness sake, it never works, does it? It's always got to be slightly off. Oh dear. See, look, they're slightly off. Oh. Tap jars. I was thinking you could have a really tiny piece of logic on a can. Just emits the physics logic when needed. Then that chip destroys itself after some time of inactivity. So at the start, each tin just has a zone and emitter on it, and then all lean up to what thermo they can individually. That could be a possibility. Sounds like something I've never done before. Doesn't mean I can't do it, does it? But let's just carry on. If this gets too hard, I'll just give it up and do something else. It's really not a big deal. I'm having fun just learning. But it would be a shame if I had to give up, wouldn't it? It would be a shame. Right, let's do this. Oops. Ta-da! We're going to have a wonderful supermarket when it's finished. Full of delightful things. Now, I know. I can't give up. I'm a finisher. That's why I'm good at making video games, because video games are incredibly hard to finish. And I'm quite good at that. So, oh, right. Let's do what we did before. Select all the emitters. Because they are the same gadget, we can tweak them all simultaneously. Don't do that though. Tweak. Now they're all referencing this tin. So I'm going to delete that one. Or rather, delete the relationship to it. And then put that one in instead. Delete that tin for it's no longer needed. Deselect everything. Close that tweak menu. Open this one. See, now we have a tin of salmon. Delicious salmon. There we go. Now we've got to do what we did before, which is a bit of a bit of a headache, but we can cope. Oops. Just grabbing the handle, moving them into position. You've got to scope into the emitter to see the emitted object, dummy object. Now this is not the real object. You can't edit that object because it's just a ghost, really. Just showing you where the object will be. You can only see the actual object. When you add an object to an emitter, it hides it automatically, which is exciting, isn't it? And so in order to edit the original object while it's still in the emitter, because the emitter is using a live clone basically, you can you can turn off preview invisibility and it will appear. In fact, we should switch. Oh, we've already got switched that off, haven't we? Yeah, so there's our tin there. You wouldn't be able to see that normally if I had switched on preview invisibility, but I could edit that now and it would edit every tin that was emitted, which is quite cool, isn't it? Oh yeah, making games, Dream Tinder, I'm really sorry, but it is incredibly laborious. Oops. Who's played some good games on the Dreamiverse this week then? Fill me in. I want to hear all about them. Do I need to move that one back? I don't think so. It's a bit off, but it's not bad enough to make it a disaster. Did anyone see Godzilla 2? Wasn't very good, unfortunately. I was disappointed. It's near enough. It's not exact. Right, that should be it. Let's just clone that. There. I'm glad I've actually done some proper optimization today, because I felt a bit bad about last week when I said I was going to optimize and then I just painted some stuff. Strange Range and Taxi Drift. I've seen Taxi Drift, but I haven't played it yet. Excellent. Well, I'm glad I could help Star Stealer. There was no time to play. I feel the gigantic pressure that is community jam deadline. There were some really good new LBP-inspired levels, yes. I do find enormous amounts of time for watching Dream streams, though, curiously. Well, yes, that is true. Right now, you could be playing... You could watch me play some, I suppose. Now, I've still got to do... Now we've got all of our tins done. Let's just test them, shall we? I think that's pretty seamless, don't you? Gameplay is still lower, but that's because we haven't got all of our tins. Cat food, 80p, we need to fix that, but that's okay, we can do that. £1.20 for smoked salmon. Now, don't forget, we've also, if you watch the tins on the floor, they should disappear automatically after 5 seconds. Once they leave... oh look, that shouldn't be pink underneath. How has that happened? Anyway. I'm thoroughly pleased with today's progress, kittens. Thank you for sharing it with me. There is a slight bug there, look. Oh no, that's better. That does happen occasionally. I don't think it's bad enough to really warrant fanning about with. What was I going to do? Shall we fix that number displayer? Let's just leave here for a minute. Save a version. This is a big step forward, I have to say. I'm very happy. Following creations are saved locally. That's alright, we can publish them to the Dreamiverse. Right, now let's just leave here. Fix the cat food. Because something's up with our number displayer. Another thing I'm going to do at some point is I'm going to put all the prices of all the objects into the main scene as variables, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have those values, the prices basically will go into, because currently the prices are just in here and they're in the main scene, and I've got them in both places. But what I want to be able to do, immersed in dreams. Is there another way to change grid size without going through the menus? When using the move controllers, I'm not sure. I don't think there is, you know. But because the move controller menus are that much easier to... here we go. 80p. There we go, that's better. Right, let's just save that. I don't think there is, you know, which is annoying, but maybe it will. I mean, like I said, the software is not finished. It is extremely close to being finished, But with most video games of this size and complexity, of which there are a few, but I've worked on many, as you get closer to the finish line, the changes, the amount of finesse tasks, which are usually quite small, multiply dramatically. So at the beginning of the game development, there's a lot of big tasks which will take you in big strides towards finishing, but as you get closer to the finish line, the strides get smaller and smaller as the tasks get smaller and smaller. So now there's still a mountain of improvements we can make to the game. We've got a massive list, and they just need to be prioritised, and we have to work through them. And it takes time. And also, obviously, then we have to test everything, which takes time. We find bugs while we're testing, which have to be fixed. So there's also a list of bugs to fix, a list of improvements to make. We also have to be careful not to break anything in the game by adding changes, and all that sort of thing. It's massively complicated. It's a massive undertaking. So even though some things sound very simple to you, oh, why can't you just fix that? It's actually hugely complex, even to do the smallest thing. Because also, the more finished the game is, the more fragile it is in terms of it's so complex now that it's quite easy to break things. Anyway, I'm not making excuses. What I'm trying to say is the game is already brilliant and groundbreaking and amazing, and these little, we're still improving it. We're still working on updates. We're still working on all the things that are on the list, of which everything pretty much anyone says, can we do this, is already on the list. It's just we haven't got to it yet. So please be patient, stick with us, help us to make it better. Even if you've got an idea, even if there's something you want that someone's already said, if you say it as well, that will increase its priority. If everyone screams for the same thing, generally that gets put to the front of the queue. So it is worth giving us your feedback on InDream. Feedback.indreams.me is the best place to give your feedback. There's not a lot I can do personally, because I'm one cog in a very big, not that big, quite big, complex machine. But I will help you as much as I can, kittens. And one of those ways is by making those little videos. And I know they're not very complicated, but not everyone is a genius. Oh, that's true. A pandy bups. That's a very good point. When you're zooming, there's an option with the moves which you can set, which is dynamic grid size. And what that means is when you hold the two move controllers next to each other and you hold the move buttons and you pull it apart so that you zoom in, it will, if you've got that option set, it will increase the density of the grid. So that is cool. Anyway, we're going to leave the supermarket now for a bit. I will be returning to my cakes at some point. Barney's just woken up and now he's going back to sleep again. Hello, darling. I'll put some more pictures on my Twitter if you like. You're welcome, Bear Antlers. I hope you're enjoying my new videos. So let's, someone wanted me to show them something. A couple of things. First of all, let's make a new scene. Let's put the grid on. There's the grid. In fact, I like to use the floor guide because it tells me where the origin is. Let's delete that grey box. Now let's make a cylinder. in sculpt mode. Put it on the origin just because, you know, there's no better place for it than the origin. I'm going to make it a bit taller. Then I'm going to stick, I'm going to, even though I'm going to put one of these on it anyway. I'm going to turn the grid off, put surface snap on. I'm going to group those together. So now this is a group. I'm going to put a rotator on the group. I'm going to tweak the rotator so it rotates. Now it will always rotate around. Oops, I'm going to turn the grid back on. It will always rotate around the center of the object it's stuck to, so we know that that's already in the center anyway, so that's quite handy. We could speed it up a bit if we wanted to. Now, you know, in one of the recent updates, if you hold L1 and press square, you can type in your values. That might be a bit too fast. Let's call it 900. Now, restart time. It spins. Now, what we can do is we can either do, if I scope into that painting, let's turn off the grid again. Oops, turn off the grid again. We can, in fact, if we scope out of that, I'm going to put glow on there. And I'm going to get a sun and sky gadgets. And I'm going to turn the brightness down. How exciting. I'm going to make that a much cooler colour. A little bit of blue in it. I can turn that brightness down as well. And I'm going to make, I feel guilty making that so dark. I'm just going to turn that up a smidge. Why do I feel guilty about that? Tell me, kittens. What's wrong with me? Let's make a purple carpet. Don't ask me why. I'm just doing this so that it's got something to reflect off of, and I'm going to make it a cylinder. A cylinder, Kitty, not a circle, not a sphere, sausage. I'm going to put that on the grid because I like the grid. I'm making a meal out of this. I could have done this minutes ago, but I want to make it nice for you. Because I'm lovely like that. And now I'm going to turn off the floor guide because it's distracting. I'm going to turn up the... Let's put a couple of lights in here, shall we? just going to turn up the impasto. And the ruffle. There. Now, if I scope into here, turn off the grid again, start that spinning. Oh, shame it doesn't glow while you're drawing it, doesn't it? Mwab. It's cool, isn't it? Let me turn the lights up a bit so we can see what we're doing. Let me just find a nice light. Oh, I've got to stay upright switched on, that's the problem. And that one. I think they're a bit bright now. So, let's reset the time, restart time, calibrate our imps, scope into here, delete the painting because it's boring, and let's okay, now we can just ungroup that now because it doesn't need to be in a group. Let's now we can do this. Freaky, huh? Oh, that's making me that's making me dizzy. Oh my goodness. Let's try it with a different colour. Let's make it shiny. Ooh. And let's make it a brighter colour. Ooh. Look at that. It's freaky as well, isn't it? Yeah, let's make it not shiny, because it's not that easy to see what's going on, is it? There we go. Now I'm going to make it, I'm going to turn down the speed, because I think that's affecting the ability to make it smooth. Let's make it 360. That's better. Let's turn on spray paint. Let's do that. Let's get the tumbler out. Why not? Right, so let's have a bit of red. Oh. A bit of red. A bit of green. Since it's Pride Month. A bit of yellow. A bit of blue. A bit of purple. And a bit of pink. Did you know that I designed this palette, by the way? It's meant to be so that there's, because previously it didn't have all these colours and it was boring. There we go, look at that, rainbow. And the tumbler works. If the tumbler's not moving, actually this is a good lesson, I'm going to teach this in my little things as well. If the tumbler's not moving, oh, well that didn't work, did it? Let's just see if we can make that work again. If you tumble it, it uses the center. You see the little dot in the middle? Whatever color that is over, it will put in on the thing. So if we do this, it will change based on how it's spinning. But if we select it like that, it should give us every colour in that tumbler. Although it doesn't seem to be. Let me see if it works with this is freaky, watch this. Oh wait a minute, I need to be in paint. You can even, with the sculpt, you don't need to be on the surface, you can do this. Way. Oh, because it's surface snapped. Oh dear. How mad is that? You could even get a cone. If I turn off surface snap and just look at that, that's weird, isn't it? And that's how you make this. This strange object. Glow amount on spray paint. Well, yeah, but the spray paint, it works in a different way to paint. So it does. So yeah, I don't know. I think there are limitations because of the way that the engine works. Come on. I love soft blend. I can't get enough of it. Look at that. How else would you create that shape? I mean, you wouldn't, would you? You wouldn't create that in Maya. How would you know? I'll just put some bits of weirdness on it. Let's have a look. What shape should we use? Just use a pyramid. There we go. And if we just turn that up, we can also make that pointier. Look at that. That is strange, isn't it? I love it. Just creating things is fun. Just doodling. Look, I didn't just decide I wanted to make this shape, but it's a very compelling shape. It's like a crazy Easter egg. Yeah, it looks like a bauble. A lovely bauble. And then we can clone it. Freaky. Oh, oh dear. Oh dear. What's going on? Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted. There. It's a sculpture. We need another light, aren't we? Look at that, it's crazy. Okay, let me make let me show you something. I'm going to show you how to make crazy sketch. I'm going to show you how to make an FPS puppet really easily. If I can remember how to do it. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's make a game scene. Let's put a puppet down. Deluxe. Everything's got to be deluxe for Kitty. Right, there's our puppet. Let's open that up. There's also this. No, not that. So first of all, we have to select the head and the neck. And make them invisible. Then we go into the controller sensor. Because the puppet has a built-in camera, go to the cameras tweak menu, camera height 0, camera distance 0. In fact, I think you only need to reduce the distance. Camera tilt. Then go to upper body, reduce that to 0. I think reduce that to 0. Let's just try that and see. Oh. We want auto possess. There you go. I think there's another setting we need to change as well, but I can't remember what it is. Is it in here? Oh yeah, face camera direction. And that's better. There you go. Awesome first person camera. Thank you, Tap Giles. Try it again. See how you get on. But I will make a video for my little series, how to make a first person camera from a puppet, if that helps. I think it will. I think one of the next ones I'm going to do is how to make enemies that hurt you. Don't save. Right, let's have a look at some levels before I go. There was some ready-made to use out there. What? My YouTube videos, well, there's already a few of them. They're already on the Medium Oracle YouTube channel. These will get put on YouTube. Yes, I'll put them on there for you. Let's do some dream surfing. Have you seen the new filtering is very good. Trending is my favourite new way to search things. Or ones that I haven't played. Oh, that's been played. Look. Updated rather. Let's have a look. Toe for Thebes and the Enchanted Crystal. I enjoyed this. This was good. This was good. Let's just change that to not played. Oh, I do love the new filters. They're so much better. Mangled Memories. If you've got any recommendations, let me know. That's cool. Tiny Tom. Oh my goodness. That looks cool. Can't wait for the full game. Let's have a look at that. This is cool. Makes me want to go out for dinner. Oh, I've played Ed's. I played it when it wasn't even released because I went round to his house to play board games and he showed me. Lovely Ed. He's a good sound designer. You probably can gather that from his amazing work. That was nice. You don't. It's nice to see. Oh, this looks good. Is everyone enjoying the art kit, the Ancient Times art kit? Oh, is it a new one? Oh look, there's a red guy. What's that? Are there any shiny things? Ooh, exciting. Do I want that? What's up here? That looks shiny. There you go. This is cool, I like this. Can I pick that up? No. I love that the everyone's using this art kit. We need more art kits. Maybe I should just release my cakes to the wild and see what people make from them. Because I do want to make something from them. I promise you I do. Oh, oh, ah! Oh dear. Luckily it's quick to get back to where you were. It's a bit of a shame you can't move the camera a little bit. Oh dear. Oh dear. Can I... Alright, I've had enough of that now. I'll come back to it later. That sounds a bit familiar. Random city generator. It's cute. Kind of retro in sort of 80s way. As you know, I do love procedural things. Oh dear. I don't know if this looks like my cup of tea. I think it's 2-player anyway. Shrunk. Late night bedroom hijinks. I tell you what, I did see something on the internet. Pig Detective. There's so much cool stuff here. What's this? Wow. It's a bit like Game of Thrones. The capital. Gosh. This is cool, isn't it? Look at that. Really? Oh my goodness. That's amazing. Oops, I fell in the water. I think I played this when it was just one city. I love it. It's so good. Although, I guess it's like the national colour to be purple. Feels like a real place though, it's good. I don't think you can go in any of the doors. But wow, look at that. What an amazing achievement. Looks great. How do I go to a different place? I guess I have to go back to the ship. I guess I don't mind people doing that. Can I do that? Can I go back? It is. It is. Go and have a shower. You smell. You've been at sea for weeks. Can I go back somewhere? Oh no. Oh. Love that. I can't rewind to the beginning though. Can I play again? No. I have to reset my progress. I want to see one of the other cities. Oh, you can't go to that one. Maybe there's only one at the moment. It's exciting though, isn't it? I love this world map. It's good, isn't it? Some people love this stuff. Backstory. Oh look, there's a different city. The art The dining room dream. Yeah, the art kitchen fills up painting thermo very fast. Well, the supermarket's coming on lovely, Sir Tall Paul. I've played this one before, but it is great. I recommend you try this level. It's already got a thumbs up. Someone played a level called The Backrooms on the stream, and I want to play that as well. Yes, the Ancient Times level is a bit expensive, but what you can do is you could try going into it and optimizing the bits that you like to make them cheaper if you wanted to. He's cool. Liquid Dreams. That looks cool. Has anyone got any recommendations? I saw a thing on the internet which was King Arthur, but I don't know if it's going to be in here. No. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was a sculpt. But it was super cool detailed. It was amazeballs. I can't see it. That's annoying. So, can anyone recommend any levels they'd like me to play before I go? Sausages? Or any questions? Any levels? No? They're not released. It's a shame. Ones that I haven't played that are trending. What's this? Oh. This is cool. Wow. I like the atmosphere. Who's this by? By Brian Taylor 60. Cool, I like this. It's amazeballs. Look at that. Lovely. Is Dream Tinder still here? Dream Tinder, I've made a masterclass which will be released at some point. I don't know when. But it might help you to build your levels a bit more quickly. About the puppet interface gadget. Do you need procedural animation on to use the walking output? Probably yes. Because all it's detecting is whether you're using that animation, I guess. This is really good. I can't wait for them to make something out of it. It'd be nice if you could run. But, you know, I'm not complaining. It's got great atmosphere. Lovely. I want to know more. I want to play more. I'm intrigued by this one. going on? Why have I only got one shoe? Okay, let me skip. If you're going to make a game of dialogue, sausages, it'll be in Dreams. Dream Tinder. But it's not there yet. It's coming. There's lots of content coming. I can't give you too many details, but all I can say is there's loads of content on its way. Dreams is ever evolving. Oh, blimey. You know, it's only going to get better and better. It's worth getting on board now because it takes a while to get used to the controls and all that. It took me months to get where I am. This is cute. I'm not sure why collecting bottle caps is going to help me get big again, but I'm gonna go with the flow. Hi. I didn't know Etch-a-Sketches were self-illuminated. Someone's been playing Dreams. This is cute though, I like all the detail. It's very Pixar. There's lots of Pixar Easter eggs. I like the softness of the cushions. Character's nice as well, reminds me of Peanuts. A little bit. Okay, see you, Temesis. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. What lovely pillows. I'm glad people are remixing other people's stuff. Isn't that cool? It's like when I see my tree being used by other people. It makes me happy. I'm going to do lots. If you've got requests for the videos, by the way, just tweet me or something, or tweet Media Molecule and say what you want, because those videos are quite quick to make, and because they're going, well, not quick, I mean, they still require some effort, but we can make them with minimal overhead. So let me know what you want, and we'll try and whichever ideas are the most liked or whatever on Twitter or whatever, we will make. We've got a few already on the pipeline. We've got a list of ones that we want to do. We added 2 new ones yesterday. Looky Eye and Blinky Eye. Next I'm going to do Flappy Mouth, and then there's plenty of other ones too, so stay tuned. And by the way, thanks to Ed and John for helping to, especially Ed, really. He made his own ones on Twitter. And we had them on the cards for a while, but they had been deprioritized because we needed to make tutorials and stuff, but it was decided that they were necessary, and Ed helped to prove that they were worth doing, so that's good. And obviously everyone that helps is good too. Dan Castro, who you may have heard of, he's helping make them. He's doing all the editing and coming up, he's capturing some of the footage, and I capture most of it because obviously it's me doing the scripts and the ideas and stuff, and the VO. I don't know how to get up there. I like this though, recommended. Music gets a bit annoying after a while. That looks creepy. Oh. Oh dear.
Okay, so I've been seeing these lights up here at camp for the last couple nights. Oh my god. And people didn't believe me when I told them. Well, believe it.
This is cool.
I gotta go outside.
This is super cool. Love it.
Just wow.
The VO's good. It's like a handheld camera found footage movie.
You see that? Oh my god. What was that? I know, this is crazy.
Oh, that's a bit scary.
I don't know. I don't know. I gotta get back inside. What?
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. I did do that for the I will be doing. Oh my god, that was scary.
What is that? Ah, stop! Stop!
Oh, that was good. I will be doing tools focused ones as well. A bit like the one we did for the sculpture detail tool. So yeah, just tweet them, and if they get lots of likes, I'll make them. This is cute. Cell shaded. I like that. Oh, that was just the start. Oh dear. Luckily it's quite forgiving. Oh no! Oh, that was lucky. Oh, too odd for me, but it's good. I'm intrigued by this one. It's just a showcase. It's nice though. Make a game out of it. I love people that make this crazy stuff. Dream Dancers. Yes, I will have a look at that, Milkman. Cool. The doggies have woken up. This is bizarre but cool. Nice. Right, dream dancers. This one. Okay.
Great!
What do I do? What do I have to do?
Nice, 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 nice. Keep it up.
Cool.
Keep it up. Great! Great! Nice! Great! Nice! Great! Keep it up. Nice! Keep it up. Great! Nice! Great! Nice!
I think I messed up there.
Nice! Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. Great! 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 Oops!
Oops.
Nice! 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 Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up.
It'd be good if the arrows were in time with the music.
Great!
But it does work.
Nice!
I mean, I
Great!
feel like I'm doing something.
Keep it up.
It'd be worth improving the visual feedback. Because you got the audio, but there's nothing to tell me. I mean, it's good. It just needs more work.
Great!
It's the beginnings of something cool.
Great! Nice! Great!
It's like a white box.
Nice!
You might also want to make it so that you don't get more than like 2 arrows at the same time. But yeah, good effort. Try using some bits that you find in the Dreamverse to tart it up a bit. Anyway, kittens. Typhus, I'm about to finish. Oh, okay, Typhus. What's your sculpt called? And I'll have a quick look at it before I go. Oh. Charming, Satan. I hope it's appropriate. Is that the one? No. Is it in here? My store level is awesome. I've done some optimization. We have made progress. We did a great optimization lesson earlier. It's just a sculpt. Let's have a look then. I imagine there might be a few Satans. Which one of these is it? This one. It's good. I like the horns. Why don't you try, what I would recommend is Let's have a remix. Let's have a remix. Let's do... Let's make a lava cookie. Ooh. This is already cooler. Huh? It's cool, huh? Right, okay, let's do... Let's put some... grading. Let's have a little bit of... No, not that. What about a bit more lens flare? Not too much bloom. There you go. If you put the bloom up, it makes his eyes glow a bit more. Move that down a bit. Make it bigger. So you've got the fires of hell. There you go. And then what we'll do, let's turn down the bloom a little bit because it is a bit crazy. Crazy. Keep a bit of it though. motion blur. Okay, no, we don't want any of that. Ooh, no, we don't want any of that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add another light. Maybe over here. Make it blue. How does that look? That's quite cool, isn't it? Let's make it bluer still. Let's maybe do another one over here. That's it. I'm gonna move that round a little bit. It's too. We just want backlighting. There we go. Maybe a little bit lower. Because that way you get some more on the jawline, which is what we want. There we go. Because then you're picking up all those lovely textural details, which you've put so much work into. That's better, isn't it? Although we're losing a bit on the horn now, aren't we? That's a bit too far over there. There we go. Nice. Right, let's okay, let's undo that. Doesn't look good. Undo it. Let's oh, I'll tell you what we do need to do. Let's do some fog. There you go. And then let's put another light in. Another light. I mean, I'm not religious, so I'm not offended by this. If you are, I do apologise. Now I'm going to do a contrasting colour here, like a blue-green, but make it super subtle, but it will help contrast the red, so it will really bring out the texture. Maybe I want to put it slightly overhead more. There we go. There, that's alright, isn't it? What'll that do? There. Anyway, I'm not going to save that. I'm going to let you just do what I just did. Oh, I forgot. You do it, you do it. That wasn't very hard. It only took me 5 minutes. Just don't forget, put in the flames. Make them flamey. Make it glow. Take a couple of pictures. No, put a couple of lights in. Backlights, rim lights, blue lights at the back. To make the edges stick, sort of come out. Put a red, orange uplight to make it satanic. Make the eyes glow a bit more so they bloom. Put some effect grade on there. And then stick a nice green, very pale, very low light from above, just to contrast with the red. It will help pop the texture. There you go. Anyway, I've got to go now, kittens. I hope that was all very informational. And don't forget you can follow me on the internet, MsKittyPowers, on most social networks. You can follow me on Twitch, the Kitty Powers. And also don't forget to keep an eye on the Media Molecule YouTube for my little short instructional videos. There's already a few of them there. We'll do some more. And if you want to request any, just post them on Twitter or at feedback.indreams.me or where else? Just Twitter's probably the best place. And if your ideas get lots of likes, we will make them. But yeah, and watch the streams. That's all I can say. And keep making things. Keep making cool things. Collaborate with other people. Make stuff with them. And create something awesome. And keep an eye out. I should be back next Saturday. Might be difficult because I've got Guildford Games Festival, which I'm doing next week, where we'll be demoing Dreams, and I'll also be demoing my own games, which you can find on the internet. Go to magicnotion.com. Support me by buying my games. That would be nice of you. And I'll see you soon. If I can't do next weekend, I'll try and do one in the week to make up for it. Alright, sausages. I'll see you soon. I'll see you later. Bye bye. Have a lovely weekend.